Welcome back, everybody. This is the Fantasy Facts Podcast brought to you by Fantasy Data. Tonight, Seth and I are breaking down the AFC East. We are talking sleepers, we are talking studs, we are talking busts. This is the first of 8 shows that we are doing. We're going to break down each division. So if the AFC East is not for you, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because when we get to the division you want to talk about, you want to listen to, you'll get notified right away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's jump right into it, because I think the AFC East is one of those divisions where there is a lot of opportunity in the quarterback position, and that's where we're going to start off tonight.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, stud. I don't think we need to talk about that one much.
Do we really?
Josh Allen, stud?
Fair. Agreed.
Fair. Okay.
Check the box. Moving on.
Stud. And so now the question is around Tua, Mac Jones, and Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
There's sleeper-ish opportunity there because they're all going relatively late in drafts. In one quarterback leagues, you're not starting any of them right off the bat. They're not part of your top 12, but they're guys you can pick up off the waiver. So Tua, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, who do you like, Pat?
I'm going to go Zach Wilson simply because of the weapons that the Jets have put around him. Elijah Moore, stud. Garrett Wilson, stud in the making. Denzel Mims, I got to see a lot. I like them all. I like everything there is to like about. And I forgot Corey Davis. I believe Corey Davis is still with the Jets too. They have so many weapons around Zach Wilson. And I'm going to back up for just a second. All the data that we're talking about tonight, when we talk about positional finish, we talk about ADP, all of that is taken from fantasydata.com. So if you question where we get our data from or you want to see it for yourself, fantasydata.com. Right now, Zach Wilson has an ADP in the 170s. If there's a quarterback who's going to outperform his ADP, it's Zach Wilson. The Jets have done a ton to surround him with weapons, including drafting the best running back coming out of college in 2022 in Breece Hall. They have weapons around their young quarterback. Give me Zach Wilson all day as a breakout candidate, sleeper candidate in the AFC East at the quarterback position.
I like it a lot. I mean, you brought up running backs already, and that's the next position we're going to talk about.
Well, you're not. Wait, whoa. Are you going to answer the question, or do you agree with me?
I agree. I think Zach Wilson probably has the greatest potential. I think Tua is a decent pick at ADP, but I think Zach Wilson is the best sleeper out of that group because you're getting him so late in ADP. I like Tua.
Yeah.
And I like Mac Jones. But if you're talking about who's going to exceed their ADP and exceed it greatly.
League winners, right? League winners. Tua, not a league winner. Mac Jones, safe floor, safe ceiling. Mac Jones is your ideal QB2 in a Superflex league, right? That's what you want.
If you waited on your second quarterback. Yep.
Zach Wilson is that lottery ticket. If you've listened to our shows in the past, we talk about lottery tickets, right? Zach Wilson with an ADP at 170, lottery ticket.
Yep. I like it a lot.
Running backs. Yikes.
See, this is where the AFC East loses a little bit of a little bit of its talent pool.
Agreed.
Because you have Damien Harris going the highest in terms of ADP out of the group. But all training camp news has all been around Ramondre Stevenson. And we knew going in that this is most likely going to be a committee backfield. You have Devin Singletary, James Cook, and Zach Moss. Zach Moss is actually my sleeper out of this just because he's going so deep. He's like a waiver wire pickup. He's a guy that could be a super late sleeper that now that he's healthy by all accounts, may be able to live up to some of what people wanted him to be in his first couple of years. There's no studs in this group.
Fact. I mean, is Breece Hall the best running back in the AFC East right now?
he might be talent wise, but I am not in love with his ADP. I am not.
No,
I'm
no,
not.
I'm not either.
I'm not there, and his ADP is just rising and rising and rising. I don't like that, and so I think he's going to. I think there is going to be learning curves with the Jets, and that's why again Zach Wilson is that lotto ticket because you're expecting him to move forward, but Breece Hall, it's going to be tough. I feel like for him to be able to do what people want him to be able to do.
I'm not in love with any of the running backs from New England, from the Jets, from the Bills. Miami's definitely has the most questions for me because it is gross, but they brought in so many running backs, right? I can't say for sure I like one more than anyone else, but if you're asking me to pick, a sleeper or a breakout candidate, I'll take Sony Michel down to Miami.
Yeah.
I meant to. Please tell me I kept this up. I don't. I was looking earlier today at some stats around like goal line touches, red zone touches, potential targets, red zone, things like that. Basically, where running backs can score fantasy points, right? And Sony Michel is a name that stuck out to me as a guy like, oh, okay. He was pretty heavily involved in LA. Oh, okay. Now he goes to Miami where it's just a lot of questions. And Sony Michel could easily lead that backfield. So totally agree. There's no studs in the AFC East. If I've got to pick a sleeper or a potential breakout candidate, I'm going to take Sony Michel down to Miami.
Yeah, and this is my thing with the AFC East running backs is it's all about value plays with the AFC East running backs because there's no standout stud. There's no I don't think there's really many busts. Like I'm not thrilled about Breece Hall, and I'm really not thrilled about where I think his ADP is going to go. But I don't think you have like the bust potential either because I think
you're not drafting any of these guys high enough. Maybe
right. That's what I mean. Their lack of clarity around them is baked into their ADP, so they don't really fit that bust mold unless they just like completely fall off a cliff.
The only one, and this is strictly based off ADP, would be Damien Harris. Right, because you're taking him late 4th, early 5th. I could see Damien Harris being a bust because you're banking on the production from last year where he had 15 rushing touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards, right? I definitely don't see – I see Ramondre Stevenson eating into that a lot more. I don't like any of them, but if I got to pick one, I'll take a chance on Sony Michel down in Miami.
Yeah. All right. On to tight ends. Dawson Knox leads the way as the tight end 9 currently, then Mike Gesicki, and then Hunter Henry. And I don't know where CJ Uzomah is for the New York Jets, but I'm throwing him out there as a super deep sleeper because I love my boy Uzomah.
He is a thorn in my side on this show because it always comes back to CJ Uzomah for some reason. Look, out of this group, Hunter Henry, proven commodity, stud. Mike Gesicki broke out last year, had a tight end 1 finish. I think he offers probably the safest potential as far as floor and ceiling. Studs, this is another one where maybe it's just Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki, and I really can't even call them studs, right? They've just been there before. Yeah. So there's no real stud here, right?
Yeah.
There are guys
maybe we should have added extra categories for I'm okay with
he's
them.
A guy. He's a jag. Man. He's a jag. He's just a guy. He's a jag. Just a guy.
And for tight ends, that's what you're looking for.
That's fine because guys like Hunter Henry and Mike Gesicki can finish as a tight end 1. Yeah. Dawson Knox, Jonnu Smith. If you watch any training camp videos, Jonnu Smith had a fucking great start to training camp. But it's day 1, right? I'm probably avoiding every single tight end in the AFC East, but if I have to pick one here to break out, can I pick Mike Gesicki, even though he really kind of broke out?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go with Hunter Henry, who's already broken out plenty.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. I think those are probably the top two options. I
they're
like Dawson
Jags.
Knox, but it's just not. I don't see him being able to be consistent in that Bills offense. So that's where I'm out on Dawson Knox.
All right. Let's move to the wide receiver position. This is where it gets fun.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about, everybody knows Diggs, Waddle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's really
well, you also have Tyreek Hill in there now because Tyreek Hill is with Miami. which is what sets them up as bust potentials for me in terms of them not being able to meet their ADP or be a return on investment.
I mean, let's ADP. Let's be honest here. The biggest bust candidate in the AFC East is Gabe Davis.
I mean, that's because he's been hyped up to a point where there is no return at this point.
No, there's not. It's ride or die time with Gabe Davis, right?
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is coming off the board as wide receiver 32 with an ADP of 78. I mean, I loved it when he was on my team last year, and then I immediately tried to ship him off because there's no I don't see it, but Gabe Davis, in my mind, is the biggest bust potential wide receiver in the AFC East.
Yeah, and I think there's two parts of like defining bust potential here because I think who's most likely to bust and not who's just not going to be what people want him to be, and I think Gabe Davis is probably there. But I think another part of it is like who's going so early that is just not going to be able to match up to where they're at, and I can't believe I'm saying this for as much as I've been on the Tyreek Hill is awesome train. I see him as one of the potential biggest busts, and I see Jalen Waddle there also because I see them being very similar in the way that they play and doing a lot of the same things. And I don't see how Miami is going to be able to feature both of them doing the same things and defenses being not able to stop it. And maybe it's just because they're both doing it. The defense can't roll coverage to stop both of them because you usually roll coverage in one direction. Yeah. And so maybe that's what it is and how they make things happen. And having good players is good for a team, but I get nervous about the individual fantasy production for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, especially because I'm not completely sold on Tua. Again, I think he's good, but he's not setting the world on fire, and I doubt his ability to be able to put up essentially two wide receiver ones or two top 15 wide receivers. I really doubt his ability and that offense's ability to make that happen, which to me, Tyreek Hill is going as wide receiver 8 and Jalen Waddle is going as wide receiver 18, which that's bust potential right there.
Agreed. All right. Who has the biggest potential for breakout in the AFC East? 10 seconds. Go.
Elijah Moore, I would say, is probably there with an ADP wide receiver 34. You're getting him as a late wide receiver 3, maybe your wide receiver 4 on your team. I like Elijah Moore in the Jets, especially if Zach Wilson is going to be everybody's sleeper, then Elijah Moore should be in there somewhere. He needs to do something somewhere to make that happen.
I'm going Jacoby Myers, just because he is the de facto wide receiver 1 in New England. I think he developed a nice rapport with Mac Jones last year. He's a PPR monster. I'll take Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, I love Jacoby Myers as wide receiver 61. I
agreed.
Absolutely love it.
Huge return on value. Huge.
Right. He's probably not going to get you 30-point games, but he's going to get you a 10-point game every week of the season because he's going to get 5 catches for 50 yards And if he ever figures out which direction the
Yep.
end zone's in and where that is, then
We're good.
hooray
We're golden. We're
for
golden.
Jacoby Myers.
All right. That does it for our AFC East breakdown. You can find the show on Twitter. We're at the Fantasy Facts. I'm at Dynasty_Pat. Seth is at FF the At Home Dad. You can go over to our good friends at Underdog. You can use the code FAQS, FAQS, at underdog.com for a 100% deposit match up to $100. If you'd like to do a deeper dive into the data, into the ADP, head on over to fantasydata.com. Use our promo code FAQS, FAQS at fantasydata.com. Receive 20% off your subscription purchase. Now, this was the AFC East. We're going to cover every single division, so please make sure you hit up our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, make sure you turn notifications on, because when the division you want to hear about comes up, you'll get notified right away. And with that, good night, everybody.
Catch you on the flip side.